All right, Buck fans, welcome back to a very disappointing losing edition of the upcoming of the No Quarter Given podcast, the 3-3 edition. A terrible loss in Pittsburgh on Sunday afternoon. Peter Blake, welcome in, Peter Blake, my co-host, Mr. Blake.
Yes. Yes.
Terrible loss.
A terrible loss. I don't know how you lose to a team that is, I get it. They're desperate for a win, but they lost 4 in a row. They got their doors blown off by the Buffalo Bills. And you have that type of effort. You have that type of play calling. Brady didn't play well. The offensive line didn't play well. The defense didn't play well. I don't know where I guess Ryan Suckup, if we're going to talk about kickers.
He did.
That was the only thing. I mean, special teams had flaws, defense had flaws, and offense certainly had flaws.
No Quarter Given podcast, part of the buckpower.com podcast network, is being presented by Beef O'Brady's here in Tampa on the corner of Bush Boulevard and Himes Avenue over the Carrollwood Forest Hills area. Peter and I will be at Beef O'Brady's doing a pregame show next Thursday for the Ravens Thursday night game. So definitely, if you're in the area, come on out to Beef O'Brady's. Check us out. Come say hello. We're going to be out doing a live streaming broadcast pregame. We'll probably do a little halftime for you as well. So definitely come on out to Beef O'Brady's. They're our presenting sponsor. Appreciate TJ Maloof and company over there at the great new restaurant. Again, if you any sports needs that you have, watching NFL, college, NBA, NHL's going now. College basketball is going to be starting here soon. Definitely check out Beef O'Brady's, Bush Boulevard and Himes Avenue. Peter and I have been over there a couple times so far to do a couple broadcasts, and we'll be out there again Thursday night, Buck fans, for the Ravens game. If you're not going to the game in person, come on. We're about 2 miles down the road, 2-3 miles down the road from Raymond James Stadium. If you aren't going to the game, come check out the game at Beef O'Brady's, Bush and Himes Avenue.
And I heard we'll be outside, so we'll have the Wi-Fi out there. Of course, we'll have the PA system. We'll be getting everybody riled up, and hopefully the Bucs are coming off a win versus the opponent this week in the Carolina Panthers, because if not, and you wrote this game down as a win versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no way in the world the Steelers should have won this game. I still don't know how they won this game going back and watching the replay, but very simple. I mean,
let's get into it. Let's break down the game a little bit here. Yeah. First off, before the game starts, give me your thoughts on the whole Brady going to Bob Kraft's party on Friday night, flying to Pittsburgh, not with the team. Do you think that had any effect on the outcome or just the mentality of the team?
No, I don't. But is it a good optic? No, it's not a good optic, because at the end of the day, you see him and he's basically chewing out his offensive line. And then, who holds him accountable? I get it. It's Tom Brady. Do I think that affected his play? No, I think he's actually hurt. And I also think he's being pressured by that offensive line, especially on that left side with the rookie and Hansey. So for me, at the end of the day, do I think it affected it? No. Is it a good look? No, because if you play bad like he did on Sunday, everybody is going to focus on that, and that's right. All the focus has been. It's not necessarily just the loss to the Steelers. It's the fact that he missed that time and he didn't play that well.
I don't think it was that big of a deal anyway, because, I mean, let's be honest, and I know the flying with the team part probably is the one part that people can say, that wasn't great. NFL teams don't do much on Saturdays at all. He didn't miss the Friday practice. He was at the practice, then flew to New York after the practice. Saturdays, basically, I won't say a nothing day, but there ain't much going on Saturday. I mean, let's be honest. Whatever walkthrough stuff they went through on Saturday, I can promise you they did it 10 other times Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. We find out that he went to go see his son in New York. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he's dealing with lots of stuff. He talked about this in training camp, how he's 45 years old. He has lots of stuff in his life, and he didn't use the stuff. He used the other word. And this is the kind of stuff that he's dealing with. And at the end of the day, people kind of hold him up and say to this pedestal that he has to play this way. He has to lead this team, but you also have to have some help. You have to have your offensive line help you out, and you have to have the play calling be there. You can't keep on running on first down and expect the defense not to catch up on it. It just becomes so ridiculous at the end of the day, because you kind of know what Byron Leftwich and this offensive staff is going to call. And Jason Powers, it makes no sense with 3 starters in that back end to not find Mike Evans. Only 4
Right.
targets in this game.
That's crazy.
We talked about Chris Godwin having a big game. We knew he was going to, which is a good thing. But Mike Evans is your most consistent guy, and you can only find him 4 times. How is that possible? That's not necessarily just on Tom Brady. That's on Byron Leftwich and this offensive staff. They have to get it worked out. Other teams in the NFL get it worked out. They're able to find their playmakers. And for some reason, this team is not able to do it this year, and I can't put my finger on it.
2 things. One, let's go to the running game first. I don't love them running on first down as much as they do, but I want to see some more creativity in the run game. Speed sweeps, a reverse. Think not just the blast up the middle or off left guard or left tackle. Have a little creativity, a misdirection kind of stuff. I mean, and again, Leonard Fournette's not going to run for 80-yard touchdowns. I mean, we know he's not that kind of guy, but you've seen him do some speed sweeps with Chris Godwin, Jalen Darden, those kind of guys. Have a little creativity in the running game where it's just not a blast up the middle on first down.
Yeah, and look, Gadecki as Gedeke on the left guard. He's not playing well. Hansey's not playing well on that interior. It's showing, and you continue to run on that side and have little to no success at all. I don't understand where the play action is at. Where are some of these wide receivers? Where is Russell Gage at? Is he still hurt? I mean, if he is, you look at free agency at this point, Jason, and I love Jason Light and what he did this offseason, but Logan Ryan is hurt. Yep. You have Russell Gage that's hurt. Julio Jones, who's hurt, who hasn't seen the
Akeem Hicks.
Akeem Hicks. I mean, it's been a complete disaster, if you will, earlier on in the season, and I get it. It's still early, but you wanted these main players that you got in free agency to make these main contributions, and they haven't been able to do it because they have been hurt. That is not going to get it done at the end of the day.
Well, Buck fans, I know we're going to wrap up the Pittsburgh game here in just a couple minutes. We've got an awesome Bucs guest for you. Bucs, I can't call him a legend, but he was a really, really good player for the Bucs during the 90s under Sam Weish and Tony Dungy. Kicker Michael Husted is going to join us. We just got done chatting with Michael. You're going to really enjoy our interview. He really talks about his journey to the NFL, how we got to the Bucs, during the rebuild with Sam Weish, Tony Dungy, the playoff game in 97, at the last game at Tampa Stadium. So you're going to really enjoy our chat with Michael Husted, who's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. All right, let's get to the defense. Mm-hmm. Again, before we get to the defense, one more question about the offense. Red zone. Again, continue to struggle. They can get to they drive the ball pretty decent from 20 to 20, but man, once they get inside that 20, they just seem to bog down. I don't know if, again, you got to force feed a ball to Mike Evans. Throw him a jump ball. We've not thrown the ball up to Mike Evans very often. We're not throwing very many deep balls, and maybe that's part of the offensive line. I get it, but we've not pushed the ball down the field, and these defenses are really squeezing the middle of the field, the Chris Godwin routes and the Russell Gage kind of routes. They're making it very difficult for us to get completions that are typically been easy completions for the Buccaneers in the past.
Well, not only is it missed assignments in the red zone at the critical times, which really kills this team, but it's penalties backing up 5 yards. And then at the end of the day, we talked about it, Brady's injury. I mean, how much of an effect do you think that's having on him? Because he's not able to push the ball down the field. And just listening to Ben Roethlisberger in his podcast just a couple of days ago, he talked about it, and he said Brady's body language doesn't seem like he wants to be there. He's in pain. He's afraid to get hit because of the pressure. I mean, are we finally seeing Brady, and I hate to say it, is it becoming a factor, not only the pressure, but is it the injury? Are we seeing the worst of Tom
Brady? The beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end, because I don't think he's Peyton Manning by any means, right? I mean, Manning's last year, 9 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. I'm not going there, but at the end of the day, also, Father Time is undefeated. In your opinion, are we seeing that?
I would love to see Brady over a 2 or 3 game period when he's really protected well, to see what kind of numbers he can put up. He's not had the time that we're used to him having. Again, you're really starting to see the value of Ryan Jensen and Ali Marpet not being there.
Yes.
And again, nothing you can do about it. They're not being Jensen's not going to be there for a little bit longer. Marpet ain't walking through that door. You got Luke Gedicke's going to play. You don't have a whole lot of better options. Maybe the Bucs make a trade in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? But Marpet's not walking through that door to help you out. I mean, you got to go with who you got. And I would say Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs, you got to play better.
Yeah, you do. And that's the thing we didn't consider, right? Because Donovan Smith has that chemistry with Ali Marpet and doesn't necessarily have that with the rookie. There was a report today by Jason Cole of Yahoo Sports that possibly Ryan Jensen could come back in November.
Right.
Jason Powers, my tag team partner of the world. How great would that be to have Ryan Jensen back on that line? I mean, how much would that help out? And then who loses their job at this point? Is it the rookie? Is it Hansy? Who is it, in your opinion, to go to that left guard spot if you get back Jensen by November?
If Jensen comes back, the good thing you would have is an option. You could slide Hainsey over to left guard. He might be a better guard than he is a center. Because again, remember, you have to snap the ball. You have to make the calls as a center. Maybe he would be more comfortable as the left guard. Again, I don't know. Maybe he's the swing guard. But again, you'd have some competition there that you'd have an option to go to if Gedicke continues to. And he's not struggling brutally bad, but in key moments, he's not playing well.
Yeah, and that's not good, and that's the worst part about it. And I mean, what was your thoughts on Brady basically chewing out the offensive line? Because I can remember 2 years ago this same type of thing happening with the Chicago Bears, and eventually that offensive line was able to work out the kinks, and they were also able to go to the Super Bowl. And look, we thought this team was going to be in contention this year. They have to score more points than they're scoring, but we still feel like they're in contention. So maybe this is a wake-up call to that offensive line. Maybe this is a good thing. A lot of people are like, I hate when Brady does that, but
it's a good thing. I have no problem with him doing that. None.
To make the offensive line accountable. He's trying to hold everybody else accountable. And people will go back to the incident on Friday and Saturday saying, well, who holds Tom Brady accountable? Well, he's the greatest of all time. Okay, he doesn't have to prove that he's accountable. He's always been accountable for himself. He's trying to raise the level of the other players on this team. And if you're a fan and have a problem with that, either A, you're not a Brady fan, or B, you're absolutely blind because you don't remember 2 years ago with him doing the same exact thing versus the Bears on Thursday Night Football.
And I'll say this, the whole Buccaneer team needs a kick in the ass, and maybe Tom Brady's the guy that has to do it. It's they need that. I'm not seeing a spirit out of them. No. I mean, they don't seem like they're playing with any joy. It's like they're just going, I won't say going through the motions, but play with some passion, but smart. That doesn't mean reckless personal fouls, things like that, unsportsmanlike, which by Devin White, I don't need to see that anymore of that crap. Make the tackle and get back in the huddle. How about that?
Yeah, that's it. Don't do something to give that team second life. And then when you got a 3rd and long, when it's 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15, got to get off the field. Yep. And that goes back to Todd Bowles. And I tell you right now, Mike Tomlin outcoached this coaching staff.
Yep,
okay? And can we just admit now that when everybody was saying, you know what, it's going to be a smooth transition, that BA really didn't mean that much to this coaching staff? He did. He gave them an attitude. He's the coach of the year. He won a Super Bowl, so it was a major loss. So at the end of the day, this coaching staff has a lot of work to do. Not only the play callers, but every coach on this staff has something to do here. They got to improve. Yep. Everybody's got to improve. And I tell you right now, going back to special teams, I mean, you go into the halftime.
You can't give up a 90-yard kickoff return.
Not only that, but Jalen Darden. Have we seen enough of Jalen Darden? Can we get somebody back there like Scotty Miller who can actually run straight ahead instead of running out of bounds?
Easy now. Scotty Miller, easy.
I mean, anybody at this point. I've seen enough of Jalen Darden. Every time Jalen Darden gets the ball, he's either running out of bounds or slipping down. It's almost like he doesn't want the ball. And I tell you right now, when you don't have that field advantage, when you don't have that field position, that also costs you. People don't look at that stuff, but look at where the Bucs have started off their drives. It's because of Jalen Darden. So can we get you back there? Can we get TJ back there? Can we get Paul Stewart back there? Hell, I'll get back there. But please, can we field a punt and have some positive yardage at this point?
All right, listen to the No Quarter Given podcast. I'm Jason, along with Peter Blake. We're being a little hard. I mean, we don't want to be this negative. That's not our goal here, but you got to be truthful and you got to be realistic in what you see on TV. And I just don't, again, with the offense, let's run a fake punt. Let's do a trick play now and again. Something to get the excitement level of the whole team up. And again, I get it. You're not going to be at your A peak game for 18, 17 weeks. We get that, but there's been too many weeks in a row where it's just been lethargic. Too much lethargic play.
Yeah, not enough let's go, not enough excitement. The defense is not getting enough constant pressure on the quarterback. What happened to Shaq Barrett? What happened to JTS? You know, people are saying, well, the Bucs should have JPP and Sue. Yeah, because that veteran leadership, but they lost a step. So, okay, you bought in, you went out and you said, you know what? Shaq's got big money. Okay, JTS is a second
first round pick.
What's he gonna do? You know, what about Vita Vea? He got paid. Devin White, he wants to make money. These guys need to step up and play the defense they did when they won the Super Bowl. And if they don't, they're not going to be an elite team, because you look at the New York Giants with a new coaching staff, you look at the Jets with possibly a new coaching staff, they're getting more out of what they're doing, and they have less talent than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Explain that to me, Jason Powers.
The good thing is there's time. So Buck fans let's don't lose hope. There's time. We still have 11 games left. We're in first place still. So all's not lost. We just need to ratchet it up a little bit if you're the Buccaneer. And I can promise you, they're being hard on the team. I can promise you that coaching staff is. You could tell in Todd Bowles' comments, he's had about enough of the whatever, living on the laurels of the Super Bowl year, whatever that means, whether it's an effort level, a preparation level. You can tell Todd Bowles has had enough.
Yeah, he has had enough. And I tell you, another disappointing thing was Cam Brake going out with a scary injury there, a neck injury. More than likely, I'm not a doctor. Don't play one on TV. I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night to know this, but I don't think he's coming back. I think you have to have guys like O'Keefe, Cade Otton, and Kyle Rudolph. That man is on a milk carton at this point. He's got to be productive. They've got to get more out of that tight end position, because we know that Brady likes to go in that intermediate range. And if they're not getting that, then you're in trouble.
Though I'll say Cade Otton's playing well. He's catching balls that are thrown to him. He's going to get more and more touches. One more point, and we'll get to Michael Husted here. Would not shock me if Cam Brate never plays another game in the NFL. This might be the end of the road, not because he'll get cut, but he's had a couple concussions in his career. This neck injury would not shock me if he's on IR and he retires a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Who could blame him? And who knows if Rob Gronkowski is going to come back. I know your prediction was Halloween. I don't know if you watched the Fox pregame, but he kind of threw some water on it. Then again, he was kind of up in the air. So who knows at this juncture? And I continue to say this. If they continue to struggle to score offensively, or their wide receiving room cannot stay healthy, look out for OBJ. I don't care what Von Miller is saying. He's going to the Bills or the Chiefs are interested. If OBJ wants an opportunity to truly win a Super Bowl with the greatest of all time and Tom Brady, he comes down here and signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We'll see. All right. Yep. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. You're going to enjoy this chat with Michael Husted. It's a very in-depth chat about his career with the Bucs. So enjoy our chat with Michael Como Está Husted, part of the BuckPower.com podcast night. We'll be back with the Carolina preview following the interview with Michael. All right, welcome back, Buck fans. No Quarter Given podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed our interview with Michael Husted. Michael's living out in California these days, out in the San Diego area, cheering on his Padres. He was at the game last week against the Dodgers. He does a lot of great stuff out in California. He's got his own kicking academy out that way as well. Welcome back, Peter Blake.
Yes,
let's go to Sunday. Charlotte, North Carolina, division game against the Carolina Panthers, who seem to be in full disarray now. Baker Mayfield out. A lot of trade speculation about Christian McCaffrey. Robbie Anderson gets sent to the locker room, then traded to Arizona on Monday. Just your initial thoughts, Bucs heading to Carolina Sunday afternoon.
Well, I mean, who's the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers? Does anybody know at this point? Because PJ Walker's hurt, Baker Mayfield's hurt, Sam Darnold is possible. I mean, who's the quarterback at the end of the day? And because they are in disarray, could they surprise the Bucs if the Bucs play down to that level? The Bucs should win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns at this point. But the way they have played the last couple of games, I don't know if I can say that, but they should. They should win this game. This should be a blowout. This should be easy. This should be where people say, oh, Tom Brady's not really washed up. Oh, all those problems on the offensive line. But at the end of the day, it's the National Football League, NFL, which means not for long or any given Sunday or no freaking logic. As my co-host Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports would say, no logic at all. So look, the Panthers are going to give them everything at the end of the day that they can handle. They have a better defense, you would say.
Here's what I would say about the defense is the point here.
Yeah.
They gave Matthew Stafford all kind of fits last week for a lot of that game against the Rams. They ran an interception back for a touchdown. So this defense is good. They're not laying down on defense. The offense is going to really struggle to get big plays, but they have threats. They got DJ Moore. You got McCaffrey. Again, we don't know who's going to be the quarterback, but again, this is, again, you're right. This is a game. The Bucs are clearly better than the Carolina, but you can't play around with this defense because they're good enough to create some havoc, especially with the pass rush. You got Brian Burns. You got Burns, who's a good pass rusher. You got some good corners. So, I mean, don't take this game lightly, Tampa Bay. Make a statement for one time this year, if you're the Buccaneers.
Yeah, to score 40. Just put them out of their misery at this point. They got a new coach. He's an interim coach. He worked in Arizona, Steve Wilkes. I mean, just put him out of his misery at this point. Put this team out of their misery. Do not have this become something that's close or keep them in the game, because the longer you keep a team in the game, the more opportunity they're going to have to basically upset you or do something crazy. We've seen that this year. We have not seen the killer instinct. We have not seen this team play a full 60-minute game. Even the Dallas game, to me, was not a full 60-minute game. They could have played better. In the red zone, they could have scored more points. I get it. Maybe we're a little bit spoiled as Bucs fans, but they got to do a better job of playing 60 minutes, and hopefully they do that on Sunday versus the Panthers.
And the Panthers are going to really isolate Christian McCaffrey. He's gained a lot of yards over the years against the Buccaneers, had some big games. So, again, Devin White, the safeties, and Levante, that's the matchup against Christian McCaffrey. So Antoine Winfield, Devin, combination of Winfield, Levante David, Winfield, you got to keep him under wraps and don't let him destroy the game through the Buccaneer defense.
And this proud run defense has got to do a good job on McCaffrey, and you're going to have to do it without Logan Ryan, which is a big-time loss. He's going to go on the IR. No telling when he's going to come back. Keanu O'Neal is going to have to step up. You don't know about Mike Edwards. So once again, the Bucs are banged up, but these players are going to have to step up. Where's Vita Vea at? That's the guy that needs to step up on Sunday. He needs to create, all that havoc, all that penetration to basically stuff that running game and make the offense one-dimensional. If you can make that team one-dimensional and put it on the quarterback, whomever it is, at the end of the day, I feel like that gives the Bucs a great advantage.
And offensively, let's have a little more creativity. Again, we don't have to be reckless on offense, but let's get a little more creativity in the play calling. Again, I don't have a problem running the ball whatever number of times you want to run it, but let a little creativity in the run game. Rashad White's getting some few more touches. He's doing some decent things. Let's misdirection plays. Everything that doesn't need to be power up the middle between the tackles.
Agree. And who's covering Mike Evans? Who cares? Get him the ball as much as you can. 10 to 12 targets at least on Sunday, and I think you should win that game easily. But you got to get your playmakers involved. Mike Evans is one of your most consistent. Chris Godwin. Who's your third wide receiver? Is it Russell Gage? More than likely, Julio Jones won't play in this game. We shall see. But you got to get somebody else involved, but especially Mike Evans. He's got to have more than 4 targets.
And let's play a clean game penalty-wise. Yes. Let's keep it under 5 penalties for the game. The red zone holdings or the red zone false starts, things like that are the things that are just drive killers.
Yep, just nonsense at the end of the day. Instead of, 1st and 10, it's 1st and 15, or instead of 2nd and 10, it's 2nd and 15, and that puts you in those situations where the manageable third downs are not that great. You want to keep it manageable. You want to be 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7. At the end of that, then that's where it becomes a little bit more difficult.
I'm gonna give you a nugget. I think don't be surprised if you see this Sunday. More hurry up offense, up tempo.
Yeah.
Let Brady. If Brady needs to call the plays, let Brady call the plays in some hurry in a couple of these up tempo situations. Not just in the last 2 minutes of each half. Let's come out in the game and play some up tempo.
Yeah, and if Gedeke struggles at the left guard, don't be surprised to see Leverett or somebody else in there to replace him, even a Brandon Walton, because at the end of the day, I get it. He's a rookie. You don't want to lose, you don't want to mess with his
confidence.
His confidence at the end of the day, but you've got to get better play out of that position. And we always put the onus on protecting Brady, especially when it comes to the interior. If he feels pressure in that interior, he is going to try to quicken those throws. It's going to ruin the timing, and there's a lot of bad things that can happen, especially hits that Brady should not be taking at 45 years old. Period.
And I'll say this, he's not getting crushed in the pocket.
Right.
If anything, I'll say is Tom needs to stand in there just a split second longer and don't be so quick to just throw the ball away. I know he doesn't. I know you don't want to get hit.
Right.
But there's going to be certain routes that are 7-step drops that are longer down the field routes that you got to stand in there that extra half a second to let the guy run the 20-yard in route or to run the post route. That's the only thing I would say for Tom. He needs to do a little bit better job. Not every single drop back, I get it, but the certain plays when you got a deep passing route called, you got to stand in there. If that means you got to get hit, you got to get hit.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I think it goes back to confidence in that offensive line. I think it also goes back to how injured is Tom Brady? How really injured is he?
Okay, you think he's hurt?
Yeah, I think he could be hurt. I think he could be hurt more than a lot of people are talking about. And that would be a shame, but there has to be some explanation. It's not only the time, but it's also trying to throw the ball down the field. You have not seen a lot of it. And if he does throw the ball down the field, he kind of underthrows it, doesn't he? Just a little bit.
Again, I've just not seen enough long down the field throws to my liking. Again, under Arians, we were throwing 4, 5, 6 balls a game, 25, 30 yards down the field. And again, even if you don't complete them, it opens up the offense to now run the intermediate routes.
Correct, because they have to respect you at the end of the day. They're not going to squat on your routes. They're not going to think that you're basically a dink and dunk offense. This team can go down the field. If it continues like this, do you think that the Bucs would call back a BA and say, you know what, maybe you should have a little bit more insight, if you will, on this offensive play? He's still a part of this Buccaneer organization.
Well, don't think Bruce isn't offering up some suggestions during the week. I mean, I can promise you he's watching the film.
He take his red pen like everybody was talking about and tell Byron,
might be.
Why are you running the ball over 20 times versus a Steeler team that has all these players out in the secondary? Where is that red pen? I need the red pen back from BA. I do. Where's BA at?
Oh, God. All right, Peter Blake, give me a prediction.
All right. I'm going to go 27-13. I can't predict a blowout as much as I want to. I still think this Panther defense is going to be something that may be difficult. I don't know. I'm just saying 27-13 at this point. It could be a lot more, and it should be a lot more. But what the Bucs have shown me in the last couple games, I'm just not sure if I'm ready to go there yet.
I'll go 30-14. I think the Bucs will come out a little bit more. Again, I think Saturday. I won't say Saturday was the absolute, bottom of the barrel for you, but it was pretty close. You almost bottomed out Sunday in Pittsburgh. Again, and the sad part is if they stop them there with 4 minutes to go, Brady probably goes down and they probably win the game 21-20. Suckup probably makes a kick to beat them to win at the gun, probably, if the defense can get off the field, but they couldn't. And I'll give Tom Brady credit. He made a great comment. You have to earn them. Nobody's going to give you the W because you're the Buccaneers. You're the big bad Bucs that won a Super Bowl a couple years. You have to earn it every single week.
Yeah, and you can't settle for field goals. I mean, when you're in the red zone, I love Brian Suckup, and he's the top kicker right now in the National Football League, but that's not what you want to do. You want to score points, and it means touchdowns to win games. And when you're in that red zone area, make these teams pay.
You're right. No, I got you. All right, Buck fans, we're going to be back We will have this podcast out earlier for you next week because of the Baltimore game on Thursday. We'll try to have this out on Monday night, Tuesday morning next week, if at all possible. But again, remember, Buck fans, we're going to be at Beef O'Brady's, Himes and Bush Boulevard Thursday for the Baltimore game. Pre-game, some halftime for you. Come join us. Come have a beverage. Come have a meal. Watch the game. There'll be NBA, hockey, baseball playoffs will be going on, so definitely come out. And obviously the Bucs game will be front and center there, Beef O'Brady. So Beef O'Brady's, Himes and Bush Boulevard. Hank's Barbecue and Home Slice Pizzas are presenting sponsors. Thanks to those guys for being involved with the No Quarter Given podcast presented by BuckPower.com podcast network. Thank you, Paul Stewart, for letting us do it another week. And Buck fans, what's there to say? Peter Blake, tell me where they can find you online real quick.
Yeah, Sports Web live on Facebook. I love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. And of course, the Sports Web on YouTube. I'm still with these neighbors here, so I'm going to keep
curfew still in effect, huh?
Yes, we're moving next week, so don't
Peter
worry.
is moving on the move.
We'll not have to have this problem anymore. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. There you go.
All right. And remember to check out the Powers on Sports podcast, Florida Football Insiders podcast as well. If you like some college football stuff, all that kind of good stuff. We talk Major League Baseball playoffs and the Powers on Sports podcast and all kind of good stuff. So have a great week, Buck fans, and let's give a loud one on the way out. Let's go, Tom Brady and the Bucs. Let's get to 4-3. We'll see you next week, Buck fans.
Go Bucs.